Okay, June 2012 F581 paper. Discuss, two-sided, the extent to which regulation alone, focusing on that model, is used to correct the market failure, negative externality associated with the sale of fast food goods, which will be obesity. Fast food are high in calories, high in fat, and cost the healthcare system a lot of money, as patients suffer negative health costs such as obesity and high cholesterol as a result of overconsumption. Application. These negative effects are a market failure. The price mechanism has failed to allocate the goods efficiently, resulting in overconsumption of this demerit good. Consumers are not aware of the negative effects of eating health food, so prices being too low mean fast food is a demerit good. There's a lot of application analysis here, which I think is going to be repeated down here in terms of the price and the quantity and overconsumption. I think just defining a demerit good at this point may be a more efficient way of doing that, and giving the examples of the external costs of obesity here, down here, when the externality is analysed. The graph's very good. We've got social cost greater than private cost. We've got our welfare loss. The axes are correct. What it's not necessarily asking you to do, though, is to analyse why it's a market failure in great detail. What is more relevant is analysing how the regulation solves the market failure, and a good way to do that using this graph would be to put a quota on the market. So put a quota at this level, and then it will set the quantity at that level, and the price will come to that new market equilibrium. And then you are answering the question of how regulation can solve, rather than a different question of why it's a market failure. And then you take this recipe here and you analyse it linked to the graph. So the negative externality is reduced as the quota sets the quantity at the socially optimum quantity, and this increases the private cost to the social cost at that point. And then you are also making the social cost equal the social benefit for allocative efficiency. So this part here, while it's correct, it's not specifically answering the question. We've got a definition for regulation here, and we've got an application point, but what we need is what we just looked at there, which is some analysis of why it reduces the market failure through increasing allocative efficiency from the reduction in quantity to the socially optimum. So we're kind of missing some AO3 in here of analysis using the graph. Information failure is likely to be part of the issue. Additional more nutritious information be given to customers. They have the informed decision on whether to consume fast foods. So we've got a good bit of AO4 here, looking at why it would be ineffective. But again, this is then starting to analyse why information provision, so this is an NAQ, would not be effective, which isn't the question. It says regulation only. So what we need to look at is those reasons why regulation wouldn't be effective, along the lines of avoiding fines, or fines being too low for businesses. And to apply the quota could be on fast foods, or you could analyse the ban, but along the same line of people breaking them. Banning Happy Meal toys reduce the utility gains in person. Happy Meal and reduce the appeal of children as toys are. So again, we've got some application here, AO2. However, the toys are only small component Happy Meal and other goods fat affect demand, such as the child in portion size and low price to make them convenient. the cost of enforcing the ban is likely to only have a small effect on demand to correct the market failure, be better off being invested in a healthcare to deal with negative externalities. So there's a little bit of AO4 there. To make the regulation more effective, it would have to be in place another form of government intervention such as tax to increase the cost of fast food, which, working with the regulation, would likely to further reduce the demand and create government revenue to invest into promoting merit goods and reducing negative externalities. However, this does depend on the price elasticity of demand. Again, this is starting to analyse taxes. So that part here is again answering a different question. I think the plan for this question needs to kind of really focus on regulation working, either a quota or a ban, and then specifically why that regulation won't work. So in terms of avoiding fines, or because you don't get caught, or the fines being too low. And then again some evaluation around making the regulation more effective along the lines of scope, or increasing the fines in terms of size, or increasing the effectiveness through more policing.